And you know what I think we should do is, why don't we get some of the Italian cheeses you brought back from Little Italy in New York City, and while this is still at its peak, let's taste a little slice of cheese and describe it to our friends.
Sure.
Okay?
I had the fortune, Alleva is, Little Italy is the premier cheese store in the world to me. I mean, I love them. I've known them a long time and everything. And I always go visit them like I visit everybody in New York after doing 25 years in the city. And they were so sweet. They gave us an incredible Asiago, a Provolone that, you know, will make the palate salivate. So we're going to go get
so
them
we're
out.
going to try that. And my thanks to Alleva for supplying us with some cheeses. That
yes.
was really,
They're
good
incredible. You can't, you know, I have them ship out my cheeses to me out, you know, in the middle of nowhere just because I can't live without them, you know. So anyway, here we're going to go, you know, bring some cheeses out. And this is a Provolone. I don't remember the actual age, but he did tell me. And it's very, very sharp, extremely sharp. There's very few people who could eat this cheese. In fact, when I do give it, I can only give it to friends who appreciate what it takes to make a cheese like this. And this is an Italian Asiago. Most of the Asiagos you get are from Wisconsin and stuff, and they're great, they're fantastic. But it's like that little difference of someone who developed it, you know, I mean.
They used the right sheeps in the right area that ate the certain grains. In Italy, they really regulate their cheeses to have great cheeses like this.
It may sound funny, but just like wines, where it's grown, the lot in the wine makes a big difference. Well, where the sheep pasture makes a difference, you know. Believe it or not, whatever's out in that pasture goes right through. If you were in a pasture of onions, you would taste onions in cheese. I mean, not that they do, they know not to.
We're eating a lot of onions in onion fields.
It will go right through them.
You would taste it in the cheese.
They have to be pastured just like grapes do in the best situation, of course, without anything but the natural situation. And it brings out a terroir, even in the cheese, you know, from what those animals are eating. So we're about to taste some of these, and I love these cheeses. I know them well because they're some of my favorite cheeses due to their, you know, well-pronounced, distinct taste, you know, for what they are, their variety, they're incredible. So
let's open one.
Yeah,
and like Anthony was saying,
why I do this.
Alleva in Little Italy, they get cheeses from Italy you don't see in a supermarket. You don't get in a lot of towns and places in the country, in this country.
Oh,
so
no.
this is a real treat for me personally, growing up Italian and growing up in New York City Italian and having access to these kind of things, and not so much anymore. It's a real treat.
Oh, these are for sure a real treat. They're so creamy. You got to understand how a cheese is kept, just like the wines when we sit here and we critique this wine. You know, this wine may have had a problem with the humidity. You know, the ventilation may have been a problem, but it wasn't bad enough to affect the wine.
Obviously.
So, no, I'm surprised.
Which is another compliment to Louis M. Martini, that he can be in this guy's cellar and still have a wine this good after 30 years in that cellar, you know.
Well, we say that because we believe in, you know, you should try, like with the grapes, to get the best 100%. You know, as I've always said, if you start at 100 and everything goes down from there. Any mistake you make takes off. That's with wine, cheese, children, anything, you know. You got 100 when you got them. Whatever that 100 is what they are. That's the best that cheese or grape can be. There you go, Stevie.
Now this is the milder of the two cheeses we're starting with.
Asiago is for the weak of heart, I refer to. Most people would consider it a little bit on the sharp side, but it's a very, very creamy Italian cheese, and it has a velvetness which would go with this older wine and stuff. And why we pick this is just like when you're drinking wines, you don't want to drink the stronger wine and the stronger tasting wine first if you're going to have several bottles. You always go with the less complex, the more brighter, airier thing, because you want to build in the complexity as you go along.
Power as you go from one to the other.
Yeah, and then we're going to do that with cheeses too. It's just the way you do it.